Hey, what's up guys, the Strong Boys 19 here, and it is time to do another review for the Rolling Stones discography, and it has been close to a year since I have reviewed Sticky Fingers, so I might as well just get back into this band's discography and talk about their next album entitled Exile on Main Street. Now, this is the band's 10th studio album, and it is their longest album as well. It's 67 minutes long and it has 18 tracks. So it came out in the month of May 1972, so a year after Sticky Fingers. Back when the success the band had from the highly acclaimed reception of Sticky Fingers, before the developing side of things of this album came to plan, they have decided to move to a different country, which is Paris. And Keith Richards owned a really nice and famous mansion, and I'll put the name right here because I don't want to butcher it. Yeah, I had to do that. So, Exile on Main Street, what can be said about this album? This is definitely one of the greatest double albums ever, and it has been regarded as the band's best work and as one of the top greatest albums of all time, according to a lot of people's lists. Yes, including Rolling Stone magazine's list of the 500 greatest albums of all time, which I don't want to talk about because they're just so biased. And I've never been a big fan of Rolling Stone magazine anyways, but we're not going to talk about them anymore. We're going to talk about Exile on Main Street. So, like Sticky Fingers and the previous albums, this album has a lot of variation and it is a really unique piece of work. And it was a very difficult time for the Stones whilst they were making this album, because inside the brilliant, beautiful mansion, I have to say, it has been very hectic. They have been going through some problems, including the power going on and off. Just a very tough time for the Stones and other members, including Bobby Keys, the legendary saxophone player, and Mick Taylor for some period of time. And also, I would recommend this fantastic documentary called Stones in Exile, which is pretty much the whole analysis and background behind Exile on Main Street, so you need to check it out. I strongly recommend it. One of my favourite documentaries ever. This album includes sounds of some rock and roll, a lot of blues, and tracks that are ballads and a bit of gospel sounds here and there. The production of this album, not as polished or as clean as Sticky Fingers, because that production from that album is so well done. The sounds from the instruments are quite different, but that isn't really a big problem to me. The drums sounded quite great. Electric guitars have a raw sound, and the acoustic guitar nice and clean, and the saxophone solos from Bobby Keys are just completely amazing, and he did fit in so well with the Stones, along with the lead guitar solos from Mick Taylor. Piano sounded wonderful, and the obvious vocals from Mick Jagger always brings strength and emotion, and the backing vocals from Keith Richards suited the instrumentation as always, and there has been some female backing vocals on a few of these tracks. This album has some of the brilliant, catchiest, tightest pieces of music the Stones had ever done. Rocks Off and Tumbling Dice, Sweet Virginia, which is my favourite song on this album without a doubt, and also Happy, which is another really popular hit, and that's a song that Keith Richards does lead vocals on. You get other songs that are quite soft, but also really great. Torn and Frayed, Shine a Light, and the cover of Shake Your Hips, which is a Slim Harpo song. Nice fun jam, Rip This Joint, which is like a fast-paced, Little Richard-esque type rock and roll track, which is a massive banger if you ask me. Casino Boogie, I Just Want to See His Face, which is a track that is really different. It's got quite like a percussive beat to it. Fantastic classic album that I cannot recommend enough to anyone who would like to get into the Rolling Stones. Well, everyone knows the Rolling Stones. It is an album that I say it is one of the top greatest double albums ever, along with the other ones including The Who with Tommy and Quadrophenia, Captain Beefheart's Trout Mask Replica, Pink Floyd's The Wall, and the Beatles with the White Album. But when it comes to Exile on Main Street, you cannot really miss this one out, since it's a special album. That's just pretty much all I've got to say about it. It's a very interesting release that does have a lot of hooks, catchiness, and some emotion, and it has some of their most popular songs, strong enough production, and with some of their best pieces of material they have ever written in like ever from their entire career. So in terms for my album rating, obviously it has to be the highest rating I could give. I'm going to give this album a 10 out of 10, and you know, it's just a goldmine in its own way. Thank you guys for watching, and I will keep you guys posted for more videos in the near future.